Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Sorry I'm not dressed up for you today. Actually, I just got finished working out, and you can see it's daylight behind me. I rarely film when it's daylight. I usually am dressed up, come in at late at night, it's quiet, I just film a video for you. So we'll see how this goes. But really, I don't have to film too much. I just want to do an intro to this next stage of the Inakustik tour video, because the tour itself is in an assembly room where there's background noise, and Holger's voice is a little bit different. So I want to make sure you get a few takeaways and then show you the footage. So the first thing is, hopefully you watch all of part 2 to the end, where we showed the air dielectric construction, because that is what really separates Inakustik from a lot of other companies and protects you from counterfeiting, because almost no company wants to even try to do what they do in that realm. But there are a lot of other metrics in that part 1, if you paid attention, that are going to be hard to benchmark against other companies, whether it's being in business since 1977, rhodium plating. Yeah, you can find some companies doing that. Tellurium copper on top of that, their own handmade connectors, all the stuff that you saw in part 1. You can find companies that do some of those things, but if you want to benchmark every single thing, plus that air dielectric, very tough to find competition there. But today, I want to go to the next step, because we talk about handmade construction, and yes, that connotates bespoke and high-end for all industries. Handmade is part of that. But in and of itself, it doesn't guarantee anything, because anybody doing cables in the garage can say it's handmade. What Inakustik does that I want you to make sure you take away, and it was a takeaway for me at least, is that they have the handmade with high quality, high paid individuals that have been there a long time to guarantee that aspect, but they also give them the parts and the tools to accentuate that construction, ensure it's optimally done and efficiently and consistently. And so 2 things you'll see in the video today. Number 1, just stripping the wires. If you're manually doing that with a tool, that tool, number 1, gets dull pretty quick. And how many times have you manually stripped wires and nicked the conductor and some of the strands? They have a Swiss-made machine, not cheap, that does that consistently, reliably, optimally. Another thing, crimping. If somebody manually is doing that, gets fatigued during the day, there's no way manually to always guarantee that consistency. They have a machine that does 1.5 tons of pressure. I mean, you can't do that by hand. So getting that exact and consistent and optimal combined with the handmade is really a takeaway I want you to pay attention to today. But on top of those 2 things, their quality control is really what separated them in my book in a lot of respects. You heard about them hint at the power cords go through 5,000 hours, 1 of each batch of bends, 2 months worth of testing to get that CE certification. And let me tell you something, guys. If you're going to pay high dollars, this was always my problem. Pay high dollars for cable, but they don't go through certifications. There's a disconnect there that I couldn't understand the rationale and logic. And getting the measurement. One of the things you're going to see with their quality control is not just testing continuity and say, okay, we've assembled it, it works, like a lot of people would do. They put it through a custom machine, logs the serial number, type of cable, and gets parameters of that cable, like the resistance and all these benchmarks that it has to pass and give a green light you're going to see before it goes out. So that ensures less issues, reliability, optimal construction, where with a lot of other companies I've seen, it's not, even in high dollar respects, you don't get that. So on top of that, even you're going to find today, aesthetics alone with their laser engraving on the aluminum tube at the end where the connectors split off, really attractive, but it also serves a very important purpose for counterfeiting, which you see in a lot of the industry now, counterfeiting other people. Even if you have a laser engraver, if it's on a flat surface or whatever, other companies can easily do some of that and copy it pretty successfully. With Inakustik, it's very tough, because laser engraving on a cylinder is very tough, as you're going to see. And they have a machine that precisely moves it in addition to the laser, such that it's pristine and clear, and also puts the serial number in there, which is logged in their database. So it's very hard to counterfeit an Inakustik cable. You're not going to see many of them, especially the reference line on the used market. But if you do buy them, you at least have a little more comfort that it's not counterfeited, plus the aesthetic element. So enough of me talking. You got to see this stuff. So lots more to come too, including power conditioners, their recordings, the warehouse, the lab. So stay tuned. Sign up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you back here soon.
Yeah, you see we have a lot of different kind of cables, and the worker need to know what to do, and they have of course all the informations here in this folder. So depending on the cable they have to assemble, they just have a look here inside. Okay, it's an interconnector, it's a speaker cable, it's a power cable, it's a digital cable, and all the instructions are in here. So they are.
So you had to create, yeah, it's all done for a reason. It's not standard for one fits all. This is done for scientific purposes and measurement purposes, which again separates you from a lot of others.
Power cables.
Okay, the power cable. Okay.
4004.
That's the big, yeah.
And even the 4004, the huge speaker cable.
Yeah, look at that.
Also extremely flexible. You see.
Keeps the exact spacing no matter how you bend it.
Absolutely, yeah. You see also the color code at the end, so the workers see how to group the wires at the end, so that that they catch the right wire.
Right.
This is a kind of secret, so which wire and position
okay,
has to be in what position and has to be.
We won't show that part then. That's cool though.
Yeah, as mentioned at the beginning, we have some small machines which makes the work a bit easier for the people and also more precisely during the time. So you can imagine, so if one worker has to remove the insulation all the day by hand, maybe it's not good for the health.
Yes.
And also not good for the precision. So we have these machines, and you see also there's for each cable we have a program inside, and so for the workers it's a bit easier to remove the insulation. It's also Swiss made.
Swiss made, yeah.
Swiss precision, like the watches.
Yes.
So that makes sure that that every wire is perfectly.
Yeah, that kind of precision is important. Yeah. Again, you don't want things being sabotaged. All the work you did to lower the capacitance, give the best possible transmission of the signal, and then it's sabotaged at the end.
It's also important that you have no cuttings here on the copper, so all your things, and so the machine helps really a lot. But yeah, it costs also a lot.
Yeah, it costs a lot, but this is the kind of investment you guys have made.
Yeah.
Which again, evidence is high end.
We talked about the connector for the RCA connector. This one, for example, is the basic connector for the speaker cable.
Okay.
This 4004 speaker cable. It's similar way we do it. So we prepare the cable and put the wires here, the conductors inside, and compress it with special tools. Let me have a look where we got it.
I'm liking this black and white.
Take that one. So it's not the proper set inside, but this is a tool which is compressing the connector with 1.5 tons at the end, and really make sure that has a good
1.5ь tons of pressure.
1.5 tons.
Don't put your finger in there.
Yes, man.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it also helps the workers to keep.
Yeah, sure.
And also to ensure that it's really really proper compressed. So if there's something wrong, the machine stops immediately and opens. So we are sure that the connector is.
Yeah, thinking just about normal employee fatigue, and that at the end of the day, they may, if they were doing this by hand, it may not be as consistent and as reliable. When you're using machines and precision instruments, this ensures that first part of the day and part of the day, employee fatigue isn't going to be part of the problem. Again, enhances reliability, all part of being high-end cable.
Inakustik can only afford one fatigue employee. That's the salesman.
That's the salesman. You've already used up everybody's fatigue.
Especially directly after the high-end show. There's so many meetings.
Yes.
Holger, do we have quality control?
Oh, this is the right question at this moment.
All right.
Yeah, sure. That's what I want to show you here. here's the packing area, so all the packing things we need. Here's the testing area. That means each cable who is leading our company has to pass this test. So start with this one here. Come on. This one we have prepared to show you. Yes.
Okay.
So
all right.
Okay. So we have here. It's not available on the market, so we have designed this testing system by ourselves. It's testing the conductivity of the cable, of each cable which is inside, but not only if there's a contact or not. It's really measured the resistance, and there are limits inside, so there's a database behind it, and each cable has limits, each length has its own limit, so we can detect if there's something wrong, the soldering work, printing work, or maybe you used the wrong cable, whatever, so we figure it out here. And I put in the cable. So I'm also a bad tester, isn't it?
You're a better quality tester than a worker, Holger.
Wait.
Modestly better. Let's see if it passes.
Okay, so the worker has to put in the order number of it, the quantity, and so he has to select the right tape. So type. So we have the digital one here, 1.5 meter, and then he has to start the test. And now you see here the clicking behind. So there are some relays inside doing all the connections. So you see here, this is the result. That means there are the limits inside, if it's okay, if it's not okay. So if there's something wrong, of course
it would show red, yeah. Okay.
So green is good.
Okay. It's the same in Germany as it is in US. Green is good.
Green is good, and if this is red 5 times in a row, the machine says go home.
Okay. So,
but it's a good thing to say, because when we sell a cable, normally you never see it again. Of course, you can destroy it if you use it improperly, but when we sell it, we test it.
Yeah, you know it's going out. Yeah.
And that's why our dealers and distributors like us, our products very much, because you sell it and you don't have any problems with it.
And let me tell you, that's not the case with all speaker and cable manufacturers, including the ones, like I said, that cost a lot. There's often problems that aren't caught before they come out. So yeah, kudos on that.
You can see here, maybe on the camera, there's a serial number on it.
Right in
maybe
yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Bit.
Yep, got it.
So depending on the series, so especially the R series, each cable has its own serial number. And after the test, we enter the serial number as well. So also this cable is stored in the database, and if there is some trouble, we can check if there has been some trouble during the assembly or if there's something going wrong afterwards.
Okay.
So this is for interconnect cables, on this side here we have the testing for
all the different
power cables.
Gotcha.
Doesn't matter if they are pre-assembled with the plugs or if we have the cable without the plugs. So we connect them here.
Okay.
So some people like to use their own connector or whatever, so we offer this kind of cables.
Okay.
And we have here the testing system, which also has a database inside, and we don't have the chance to enter or manipulate this database, because power cable, you may know, it's high voltage.
Yep.
It's risky, so we have to make the test. It's the same thing. We have the serial number on the product. We make here the high current test, high voltage test, functional test, all the things we make with this machine, and the result is stored inside this machine. We also have a printer here which gets out the result. So we store the result inside here, and we also make a hard copy and also put it into the safe. So if something gets wrong, there will never go something wrong, but in case we can see if there has been something changed on the product later on. But we are sure that the cable left the company in perfect conditions.
Right, with the C certifications. That's important with high voltage sources. And I can just say, anecdotally speaking, my friend Doug, who you know, he had a cable that was very expensive and it had to go back. it had a problem, a really weird problem. And he's switching to you guys because this level of just safety. You know, people have mega dollars in these systems, but that often means they have mega dollars in their home. You do not want to risk the safety and reliability. Again, another part, even if you don't care about the performance, this is still worthwhile investing in. So, yeah, this is impressive. Oh, so this machine does all the engraving. Okay.
So this is the laser engraving machine. So this is, I think that's
so that's one of your 3D printed parts that you're using in the laser engraver. Okay, yeah.
Absolutely. So for
making your own parts, yeah.
For each diameter and everything, we need different parts here. My colleague prepared this, so this is just to show you how the engraving works.
Okay.
So the worker puts in the engraving, and if he starts the computer system, he also sees there's an image appearing in which direction he has to put on the barrel that the engraving is on the right position. So, and why do we have this rotating system is because you know that the laser spot just affects one spot.
Yeah.
And so we have to focus the laser on with a distance. And if the laser is moving, the distance is changing and it's not in focus.
Right.
That's why we have to turn the barrel underneath. So that's what happens. So the engraving can do it like that.
And you know, I just want to jump in real quick. This helps. There's so many companies that maybe do laser engraving, but it's easy for counterfeiters if it's flat because you can get a laser engraver. But if you don't have the tools like you're showing here, this would be fuzzy. They don't think of that. They're obviously not going to invest in all of this if they're doing ripoff. And this is beautiful, perfectly laser engraved on a cylindrical surface. Again, just screams high end. And the fact that you're self-sufficient with parts, you know, this is the impressive stuff that I knew I would see it here, but I'm even more impressed now that I'm here seeing it firsthand. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you can go into the camera.
Yeah, sure. Oh, we can watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
let's see how much can come through.
Okay. Now you see it goes into the right position and starts the laser engraving. As always, goes back to the 0 position with the next image and put on.
Interesting.
So this is a huge barrel, so it takes a bit time to do all the engraving. And on these barrels we have also the serial numbers, and it's coupled with our computer system. And so if the worker finished the cable and we register the finished cable in the computer system, we also enter the serial number. So we always know which item has what serial number and which client gets the product.
Wow, that's great to have that database. There's so many companies that have no clue. Yeah.
It's a big barrel, so it takes a bit time.
But relatively speaking, that's pretty fast. You know, we're going to be finished pretty soon with that whole thing. Certainly.
You see, for the Inakustik logo, it takes some more time.
Yeah, but that again helps against counterfeiters because the logo is not easy to just use the standard font.
So now it's finished.
Yeah.
So done.
Wow. Very nice on a cylindrical surface. Yeah. Within a few seconds, you know, a minute or so. Very nice.
Yeah, and for the power station, Marius will talk later about it. We also make the engraving. These are some they are not okay. So we just leave them here to show visitors that we also make the engraving here for the front plate.
Gotcha.
So.
I think we're going to do power conditioners next. Is that right?
Yeah, I think we do power conditioners next.
Okay.
Maybe after that, I will show more details about the conductors in the
Yes,
series,
definitely.
But now we can go to with Marius.